What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And now you guys might have seen my video the other day where I complained about the UFC rankings. I said they were dumb, I said they were bullshit, and I made my own rankings because I believe that mine are better than the UFC's rankings, because I took into consideration inactivity, I took into consideration actual top ranked wins, current win streaks, and all that kind of thing, instead of ranking Stipe Miocic fourth despite not winning since 2020. But that's not important. But what is important is, since then, I went about and I took it upon myself to make a system where you guys, the fans and the viewers of this channel and the fans of the UFC, can submit their own rankings based off what you guys think the top 15 of every division should be. And then I used a point system, which I'll talk about in a second. And then using that point system, I changed the rankings and I pretty much ordered them from 1 to 15 in terms of who got the most points to least, or first most points to 15th most points. And then I did the same for every division, and I did the same for the pound for pound rankings as well. So we're going to get into it. I'm going to show you the UFC's rankings. I'm going to give you a quick look at mine as well. I'm not going to justify them anymore because I did that in my last video. Go check that out. But then what I'm going to spend the most time on is showing you guys the rankings that you have come up with, that you have contributed to. And yeah, we're going to figure out a system to do this better in the future, and after maybe every pay-per-view, or like, let's say, there's a fight night taking place next weekend, there's only like a couple ranked fighters on there, so we probably won't do like a full rankings reshuffle. But what I might do is like submit a form and say like, resubmit your flyweight rankings, and just do like each division individually as it comes in terms of when there's going to be fights. But let's get into it, and we're going to start with the flyweight division. So really quickly, the UFC's flyweight rankings, you can see them on screen. I'm not going to really go over them. I'm not going to go over mine, but you can see mine on screen too. And yeah, those are my rankings. The UFC's rankings to the left, my rankings to the right. But now, let's take a look at your guys' rankings, the people's rankings, and see what's changed. So, just before I go through the order, just letting you know, so the point system went on a basis of every single person that submitted valid rankings. They had to be 1 to 15. You can't do 10, you can't do 5. You have to submit 15 different names in order. And that's when I count it. So obviously, number 1, whoever you put number 1, gets 15 points. Number 15 gets 1 point. Figure out the rest from there. But yeah, I went through every single submission that people put in, and then I calculated the points. But flyweight division, Brandon Royval is the number 1 ranked flyweight according to you guys. I agree with the placement. He got 254 out of 255 points. There were 17 ballots submitted for flyweight. I guess I'm just calling them ballots. It's like valid entries. 17 different people submitted top 15 lists for flyweight, so that leaves 255 votes maximum, and Brandon Royval got 254. Brandon Moreno in second place, 236 votes. Amir Albazi in third, 210. Kai Kara France in fourth, 201. Matheus Nicolau in fifth, got 177 votes. Muhammad Mokaev, this is where it changes. The top 5 was the same, but Muhammad Mokaev, you guys have him ahead of Manel Kape. He has 167 points. Manel Kape in 7th with 162. Steve Erceg going up from his spot in the UFC rankings. You guys have him at 8 with 138 points. Alex Perez remains at 9. Oh, sorry, he goes down a spot to 9. He has 113. Tim Elliott goes down a spot as well. He has 98 votes. Tagir Ulanbekov, he moves up ahead of Matt Schnell. He has 77 votes. Matt Schnell obviously moving down with 66. Tatsuro Taira, David Dvorak, and Suma Derji all in the same spot. Taira has 58 votes, Dvorak has 34, and Suma Derji has 13. So that is the flyweight rankings according to you guys. Not a lot of changes compared to what I had. I actually put Matheus Nicolau above Kai Kara France. I think even if you guys don't have that right now, I think if he beats Perez, I think surely you would have to do it just on activity, and the fact that Kai hasn't won since 2021, I'm pretty sure, or 22 maybe, but he hasn't won in a while. So I think Nicolau, I have him above Kai. That's my opinion. I have Mokaev and Erceg both above Kape. I actually had Kape at 8 because if you look at his record, he hasn't really beat anyone. And apart from that, we were all pretty similar. So yeah, that is the first division. You guys have kind of an idea of it now. So yeah, let's go to the bantamweights. So for bantamweight, the UFC's rankings, yep, you can see Umar's at 9. That's kind of retarded. Chito Vera's at 4. Those are kind of the things you're going to see a bit of disagreement on here. My personal rankings, I had Song Yadong above Chito Vera. I had Henry Cejudo moved down a couple of spots. I had Umar down a little bit. But that's not important because I talked about that in my last video. Let's look at your rankings. So for bantamweight, there were also 17 ballots, meaning a maximum of 255 votes if you got 15 for every submission. And that's what happened with Merab. He is the number 1 bantamweight by far. 255 points. Not a single person didn't have him first place. Good to see we have some basic levels of intelligence. But Corey Sandhagen, the number 2 with 234 points. Pt.2, number 3, 225. Davison Figueiredo, this is where it goes interesting because he's number 6 in the UFC rankings. He jumps to number 4 in the official left lane fan rankings. He's got 186 points. Chito Vera drops a spot with 181 points. He's at 5. Song Yadong, is he at 6? No, he moves up 1 in your guys' rankings. He's got 176. Henry Cejudo, listen guys, he goes down 1 spot to 7. Listen guys, I know I haven't won in 3 years, guys, but trust me, I'm a top 5 bantamweight, guys. So yeah, Henry, get out of here. You're number 7, 161 points for him. Robert Font is number 8. He's got 127 points. That's the same as the UFC rankings. Kyler Phillips goes up from 10 in the UFC rankings to 9 for us. He's got 108 points. Umar drops a spot. He's got 95 and number 10. Jonathan Martinez, he's the number 11 ranked bantamweight with 90 points. He moves up from number 13. Mario Bautista, he's 12. He stays there. He's got 73 points. Dominic Cruz drops a couple spots. He's at 13. He has 52 points. Pedro Munoz and Ricky Simone both stay in their spots. Pedro Munoz has 47 points. Ricky Simone has 25. But that is bantamweight, so not many notable changes. The top 3 are the same. Figueiredo jumps from 6 to 4. Chito drops from 4 to 5. Song jumps from 7 to 6. Cejudo drops from 5 to 7. Font stays the same. Phillips moves up. Umar moves down. Martinez moves up 2. Cruz moves down 2. Batista stays the same. Munoz stays the same. Simone stays the same. So not a lot of disagreement for bantamweight, but just a little bit of change, and it's good to see Figgy get some credit and some recognition. But let's move on to the featherweight division. So the featherweight division, you can see the UFC rankings there. I imagine this is going to be pretty similar. Just a couple shuffles. There's no real massive jumps. All I want to say is some absolutes, but these are my rankings on screen, by the way, not yours, but I want to say some absolute spastic didn't rank Max Holloway at featherweight. I think they might have just been brain dead and thought he was moving to 155. So what happened was he was actually like 2 points. So even though he got one of the submissions, there's 17 ballots for featherweight, by the way, I think, or 18. There might have been 18. But even though someone literally gave Holloway 0 points because they thought he wasn't fighting at featherweight, he actually almost ended up making it to second anyway. But what I did is, because I'm like, I just can't take this seriously, and I'm not gonna count a ballot that doesn't have Holloway ranked. He's clearly still a featherweight. So what I did, I did some tinkering. I just added my own votes. I submitted a full 15-1 votes for featherweight and just adjusted it a little bit just to make sure that there was no tomfoolery going on. But my rankings, you can see them on screen, the UFC's rankings to the left. Let's look at what you guys had to say. So there were 18 ballots for featherweight, and this is how you guys had it. Alexander Volkanovski, clearly the number 1 guy. He has 266 out of 270 points. Max Holloway, he's number 2. Obviously, I had to change some things. I had to submit my own entry just to make sure that the absolute retardation of whoever didn't put him at featherweight didn't affect this, because I just would not accept if Ortega was number 2, because Ortega was ahead of Holloway by like 3 votes. So I'm like, okay, I just redid it. I did my own rankings again, is what I had for my video. And then I just made sure that Ortega was not ahead of Holloway, because that would be retarded. But yeah, Brian Ortega, he's 3. He's 1 vote behind Holloway at 228. Movsar Evloev, I had him personally ranked above Ortega, but you guys have him at number 4 with 211. Yair Rodriguez, he's number 5, 199 votes. He moves down 1, from the UFC rankings. Arnold Allen, He's number 6 in both rankings. He's got 175 points. That's a pretty concrete position, I think. A couple people had him higher, but yeah. Aljo, this is a big, not actually a big jump up because he's only number 8 in the UFC rankings. He goes to number 7, so you guys moved him ahead of Josh Emmett, which I agree with. As I said, he's got 170 points, by the way. Josh Emmett, number 8, 150. Kelvin Kattar stays in his same spot. He's got 122. Giga Chikadze stays in his same spot. He's got 103. Diego Lopez is number 14 in the UFC rankings. He goes to number 11 for you guys. I had him at number 10 personally, but I've got no issues with this. He's number 11 with 81 votes. Bryce Mitchell drops down a spot. He's number 12 with 78. Edson Barboza, he also drops down a spot. He's got 65. Dan Ige drops down a spot. He's got 42. And then Sadiq Yusuf has 17 votes, obviously scraping on. Pretty much just got 1 vote by everyone from what I picked up. But let's move on. We'll just talk about it a little bit. So, yeah. Not too many changes. Holloway, Volk, Ortega, that's concrete. That's same as the UFC rankings. I personally had Evlov high, but that's all good. Yair moves down. Him and Evlov just swapped spots for you guys. Arnold Allen at 6. Yeah. Aljo swapped. I think I had him higher. I don't know where I had him. Maybe I had him 5 or not 5. I think I had him 6 maybe, but ahead of Yair. I don't know though. But yeah, Kattar. It's like that. You kind of have to rank it Emmett, Kattar, Giga because they've all fought each other, and then you have to have Mitchell above Barboza, and then you have to have. Well, I mean, some people had Ige above Barboza. Some people had Barboza above Ige. But yeah, nothing crazy. No big jumps. No one drops out of the rankings. So the top 15 in terms of who's in there stays the same as it does for most divisions. Just because even if there's a really good argument to move someone out of the division, and we did see some votes. I can actually read some votes out for you guys because I just have the top 15 in front of me. But I can go back to my original document. Couple other people that got votes. Joannison Brito, Nate Landwehr, Lerone Murphy, and then Cub Swanson all got a couple votes. But I feel like when people are looking through, it doesn't really go through their head to do unranked fighters. They kind of just rearrange the top 15. So that's fine. But yeah, nothing crazy. Let's move on though to lightweight. Lightweight division, 155 pounds. The weight, Mr. Chandler, will be 155. It will not be 155. But that's what division we're looking at right now. Obviously, the champion, Islam Makhachev. Most people kind of agree on a lot of the placements, but obviously you'll see the big jump in both my rankings and the UFC's rankings. So my rankings and your rankings compared to the UFC's rankings is obviously the Max Holloway placement. Apart from that, there's really nothing crazy. I personally have Favola ranked. You guys didn't see it the same way. A couple of you did. But yeah, again, most people just seem to kind of go with the top 15 and just rearrange it themselves without thinking, oh, maybe we put in this unranked fighter. When I don't know, guys like RDA probably just shouldn't be ranked at this point. And some of you guys did see that, but the majority just didn't. So yeah, you can see my rankings on screen. But again, let's take a look at what you guys had to say. So there was a whopping 19 ballots submitted for the lightweight division. I know, you must say whopping 19 ballots. It's not that much, but in comparison, this was the most ballots that was submitted for any division. A maximum of 285 points if you got all 15 votes. And the number one guy, pretty unanimously, was Arman Sarukian. He got 283 votes out of a possible 285. I think that maths is right. If not, I don't care. Maybe it was 290. I don't know. But whatever. He got 283 votes. He's the number one lightweight, same as the UFC's rankings. Charles Oliveira, also the number 2 lightweight. That remains the same. He has 247 votes. Pretty much all of his votes was either 2 or 3. Max Holloway, he is third with just behind Charles Oliveira, 246 votes to his name. Very close down to the wire there. Couple votes and he would have been the number 2 lightweight for our rankings. But Justin Gaethje remains the number 4 guy. He has in the UFC's rankings, he's number 3 because they're retarded. But yeah, for our rankings, he's got 229 votes. Dustin Poirier, the number 5 guy, with 211. Mateusz Gamrot, 186 votes. He's number 6. These remain the same pretty much, apart from just Holloway bumping all of them down a spot. But Neil Dariush, 7. He has 159 votes. Michael Chandler is actually not number 8, so Fiziev is the number 8 guy. In the UFC's rankings, Chandler is number 7. He moves down to number 9. Fiziev is number 8. In both rankings, he has 149 votes. Michael Chandler, 121 votes, he's at number 9. Hanato Moicano, he remains the same as he is in the UFC's rankings, number 10 with 119 votes. Dan Hooker, 102 votes, he's number 11, that remains the same. Bernard St. Denis jumps above Jalen Turner for our rankings, he's number 12 with 76 votes. Jalen Turner, number 13 with 60. Bobby Green with 37, and then Rafael Dos Anjos with 24. So him and Bobby Green and RDA just swapped around. But apart from that, Bobby Green... So people that actually moved was RDA and Bobby Green switched around. Turner and BSD switched around. Chandler and Fiziev switched around. But then apart from that, Holloway just jumped a bunch of people to number 3. I honestly do not know how the UFC didn't put him higher. Like, look, I get it. If you don't want to put him above Gaethje, it's still retarded, but you can be like, oh yeah, he hasn't beaten many lightweights. It's his first fight and his first win at lightweight. So yeah, we want to keep... But like, bro, come on. You can put him above Beneil Dariush. Like, what are we doing here? So yeah, that was retarded. That was probably the main motivation for making this video. And pretty unanimously, most of you guys had Holloway as either the number 1, 2, or 3 guy. A lot of number 3 votes, but a couple number 1s... I think he might have got a number 1 vote in there, which bumped him up a little bit, but he was not able to get enough votes to overtake Charles Oliveira as the number 2 lightweight. But let's move on to the welterweight division. So for welterweight, you guys can see the UFC's rankings to the left, mine to the right. Couple changes that you might see. Obviously, Usman I don't have at number 1. Colby I moved down quite a bit. I had Buckley a little bit higher than the UFC had him. No, sorry, I don't. I have Buckley the same. I have MVP higher than the UFC have him a little bit. I have Sean Brady moves down a little bit. But yeah, we'll get into your rankings because mine's not important. We already went through that in last video. But yeah, let's see what you guys wanted to say about the welterweight division. So the welterweight division also had 19 ballots, meaning a maximum of 285 votes if you got every single 15-pointer. Bilal Muhammad was yours number 1 welterweight. He got 275 out of 285 maximum votes. So yeah, you guys moved him up from number 2 in the UFC rankings to number 1 for our official rankings. Shavkat Rakhmonov also moves up a spot. He's number 2 with 257 votes. Kamaru Usman, the UFC's number 1 middleweight, number 1 welterweight, my bad. He drops down 2 spots. You guys have him 3rd with 248 points, so just a little bit behind Shavkat Rakhmonov. Jack Della Maddalena moves up a spot above Colby Cuckington. He is number 4 with 230 points. Gilbert Burns also moves up a spot above Colby. He has 198 points. He's at number 5. Colby, you guys had him at number 6. I had him even lower because he hasn't won in centuries. But yeah, he's got 190 points. He's the number 6 welterweight for you guys. Ian Gary Kakchado himself, he's number 7. That remains the same in the UFC's rankings with 177 points. Stephen Thompson moves up a spot from 9 to 8 for our rankings. He has 150 points. Sean Brady is the number 9 welterweight for us. He moves down a spot with 140. Jeff Neal stays in the same spot with 103 points. Michael Page only 1 point behind at number 11. He moves up from number 13 in the UFC rankings. He has 102 points. Joaquin Buckley, he's number 12 in both the UFC's rankings. So he moved down for your rankings. He's number 11 for the UFC, number 12 for you guys. He's got 67 points at number 12. Kevin Holland actually moves up from number 15 to number 13. He's got 50 points. And then Neil Magny at 14 with 44. He moves down 2 spots. And then Vicente Luque moves down a spot too. He has 26 points. So that is the welterweight rankings for you guys. This was probably one of the more disputed ones. This was probably the only division where the number 1 guy was not like pretty much unanimous. Because for flyweight, Roval only dropped like 1 point. Bantamweight, Marab didn't drop any. Featherweight, Volk dropped like 3. Lightweight, Arman dropped a couple. But then welterweight, even middleweight, you're going to see Strickland. Spoiler, he dropped none. He got all 15 points. Yuri got most of the number one votes, and then like Aspinall obviously got every number one vote, which we'll talk about in a bit. But yeah, this was probably the only one where I saw three different guys ranked number one. You guys, a lot of you had Bilal number one, a couple of you had Shavkat, and then some of you kept Usman at number one. So this was an interesting one. And a couple other honorable mentions that got votes in case you're interested. Let me just find them on my other document really quickly. Couple other people that got votes: Michael Morales, Randy Brown, Nicholas Dalby, Renat Fakhratinov, Santiago Ponzinibbio, and Michael Chiesa all got at least one or more points. So yeah, those are some of the other guys that you thought should be ranked, but unanimously the rankings were kept the same in terms of the 15 people that are a part of them. So let's move on to the middleweight division. So for middleweight, there's not a bunch of like drastic changes. There was a little bit of dispute in terms of where a lot of people put Hamza. A lot of people moved Costa about different places. Some people moved a couple guys in. I personally had Michel Pereira as a ranked fighter. I moved Paul Craig out. Some of you disagreed with that take. And I wanted to say one thing. If I'd actually followed what you retards said and used your votes legitimately for every single one, which I did for 95% of them, but yeah, three people, two of you put Kamaru Usman as your number 6 middleweight. The fuck are you doing? So yeah, I made that ineligible. Like, I counted it to the votes, but then I just cut him out because I'm not putting Kamaru Usman as a ranked middleweight when he hasn't won in the weight class. That was retarded. So yeah, you guys, because you put Hamzat at 5, so then you're like, oh, guess I got to put Usman at 6. I don't know what the fuck you were doing, but even though only 3 people included him, 2 of them ended up getting him like 10 points. So he got more votes than Paul Craig. So yes, just so you know, or full transparency, if I'd listened to what you said, then Kamaru Usman would be the number 15 ranked middleweight based on all the combined votes. But he isn't because I just disqualified him because he's not a middleweight. If he fights at middleweight his next fight, I will then allow that ranking, but that was a one-off thing, so yeah, what the fuck are you doing? But let's just take a look at your guys' rankings. So, the middleweight rankings had 17 ballots submitted with a maximum of 255 votes, and one Sean Strickland, he got all 255 of those votes. He collected 15 votes, or 17 different ballots with 15 votes each. He got all the maximum votes. No one had him any lower than number 1, pretty clearly. Israel Adesanya, number 2 with 236 votes. Robert Whittaker with number 3 with 222. Jared Crystal's Cannonier with 205 votes. He's number 4. Marvin Vettori, 168 votes. He's number 5. So all the top 5 stays the same. There really isn't anything. There's not really a massive argument to change anything in the top 5 unless you're just trying to be really like technical and stuff. But Marvin Vettori, yeah, number 5, 168. Paulo Costa, he's number 7 for the UFC. You guys had him at number 6 with 152 votes. Brendan Allen, the number 7, he moves down, so him and Costa swap spots. He's got 140 votes. Nasadina Mavov, number 8, he stays in the same spot. He's got 136 votes. Hamzat Chimaev actually moves up from number 11 to number 9. You guys had him with 132 votes. Number 10, Jack Hermanson, he stays in the same spot with 89 votes. Roman Dolidze moves down 2 spots from number 9 to number 11. He has 87 votes. Anthony Hernandez stays in the same spot at number 12 with 71. Chris Curtis with 48. Kyle O'Brien with 34. And Paul Craig with 23 is the bottom 3 of the rankings. So you kind of just switched Curtis and Craig there. I don't know why Curtis is number 15 in the UFC rankings behind Craig. Craig's done nothing. But yeah, that's all you guys had. Not any massive changes. Personally, I had a Mavov higher than both Allen and Costa. I think I had Hernandez a little bit higher as well. I had Dolidze a little bit lower, I think. But yeah, and I also had Michel Pereira ranked instead of Paul Craig. But no crazy differences, but let's take a look at the light heavyweight division. So for light heavyweight, there's really not a bunch of changes, to be honest. Like, I had Yuri 1, Ankalaev 2, Blachowicz 3. I had Hill at 4. The UFC has him at... I moved him and Blachowicz around, but there's really not a bunch of massive changes. I put Carlos Olberg in the rankings. I kicked, I kicked Reyes out. I have Ozdemir up a spot, but yeah, nothing crazy. And none you guys didn't really have any big changes to make either. So let's just quickly look at your light heavyweight rankings. So for light heavyweight, we only got 15 ballots. This was one of the less kind of submitted divisions. Less people really gave a fuck to submit their rankings, and I think it's because the UFC really don't have anything crazy going on here. There's really nothing bad about the light heavyweight rankings, apart from, I guess, Reyes being ranked, and that is the only notable change you guys will see here. But the number one guy was Yuri Prohaska. He got 222 out of a possible 225 maximum votes. Magomedov Ankalaev was number 2 with 208 votes. Jamal Hill, number 3 with 297 votes. Sorry, that's meant to be 197. I wrote that wrong. 197 votes for Jamal Hill. Jan Blachowicz with 180 votes. He's number 4. Alexander Rakic, 5 with 166. Krylov, 6 with 147. This is all the same. Johnny Walker, 7 with 127. Khalil Roundtree, 8 with 124. Volkan Ozdemir, 9 with 100. Anthony Smith, 10 with 79. Ryan Spann, 11 with 66. Azamat Mirzakhanov is 12 with 63. That's really the only other change that got made. So Mirzakhanov's 13 in the UFC rankings. And Menefield is number 12, but they just swap. Menefield at 13 with 54 votes. Vitor Petrino is the UFC's 15th ranked light heavyweight. He goes to number 14 with 35 votes. Carlos Olberg enters to number 15 with 14 votes instead of Dominic Reyes, who got kicked out. Reyes got a couple votes. Dustin Jacoby got a couple votes, but apart from that, this was one of the less kind of debated divisions. It was all pretty much, every one I really saw, it was Yuri, Ankalaev, either 1 or 2, and then like Hill, Blachowicz, Rakic, it was all the same, so not much to go over there, but let's take a look at the heavyweight division. So my heavyweight rankings, the only really crazy difference I made was kicking Stipe out. I removed him from the rankings just because inactivity. For me, it's like either you have Stipe top 5 or you just kick him out. A lot of you guys kind of had him in different spots. A lot of you actually had him number 15. It's like you just keep him ranked, but just don't have him anywhere above 15. Some of you kept him around 5, and then some of you didn't have him in there. So Stipe, you'll see, didn't get many votes. But apart from that, let's take a look at your votes for the heavyweights. So for heavyweight, there were 16 ballots submitted, meaning 240 votes was the maximum you could receive. And Tom Aspinall got all 240 of those maximum votes. He got every single 15 point vote, every number 1 placement, of course. Cyril Gane, the number 2 guy, this was very close with him and Pavlovich. Gane was number 2 with 210 votes, and Pavlovich was number 3 with 206 votes. So just a couple placements the other way. If like 2 of you had put Pavlovich 2nd and Gane 3rd, we see that shit switched around. So very close stuff there, very debatable. I personally put Pavlovich above Gane, but it's up to you guys, I don't mind. But yeah, Curtis Blades at number 4. He had 196 votes. Alexander Volkov at number 5 with 171. Jailton Almeida at number 6. Sorry, I'm just going to get the UFC's heavyweight rankings up just to see if there are any changes. I don't think there are. Almeida at number 6, he moves up a spot. Obviously, everyone moved up a spot because Stipe moved down. But Tabora at number 7 also moves up. Almeida had 153, Tabora had 135 votes. Spivak at number 8 with 120 votes. Jairzinho Rosenstruik with 99 votes at number 9. He moved up 2 from number 11. Stipe, finally we get to old man Miocic. He's got 87 votes at number 10. Tai Tuivasa with 81 votes at number 11. Derek Lewis with 76 votes at number 12. He stays in the same spot. Romanov stays in the same spot with 53. De Lima has 44 votes, and then Rodrigo Nascimento has 21 votes. A couple people put Waldo Cortez in there. Those are for the ones that didn't have Stipe. That's what I had because I disqualified Stipe. I put him out of the rankings and I put Waldo in there. So yeah, that was the heavyweights. A couple people gave Rebellis de Spain a ranking. I think someone gave Mick Parkin a ranking, but apart from that, there's really not many heavyweights, so it's kind of hard to find any to go in the rankings. They're pretty much all ranked. If you get like 2 wins, you're ranked. Someone put Shamil Gaziev in there, which I thought was amazing. But yeah, let's move on to the pound for pound list, the big one. Oh, because it's pound for pound list, I will once again read out my list that I made last video. I'm not going to justify it. I'm just going to read my list out. So I have Alex Pereira number 1, Islam Makhachev, I don't know why I said it like that, number 2, Leon Edwards number 3, Ilia Topuria number 4, Alessandro Pantoja number 5, Volkanovski number 6, John Jones number 7, Max Holloway number 8, Sean O'Malley number 9, Dricus du Plessis number 10, Aljamain Sterling number 11, Merab Dvalishvili number 12, Tom Aspinall number 13, Charles Oliveira number 14, and Sean Strickland number 15. So that is my pound for pound list. I justified it and I explained it in my last video, but now we're going to take a look at your pound for pound list, and we're going with top 20 for this one. The top 15 is all that's going to be on screen because obviously the UFC, like the fan ranking site where you can create your own rankings, doesn't actually like give room for more than 15, but I'm going to read out every single person that got votes, or the top 20 at least. So yeah, let's go to that now. So the pound for pound rankings submissions got 17 ballots, meaning a top of 260 points was available. 255 points, was available. So 17 votes or 17 ballots. Islam Makhachev got the number 1 spot. He only missed out on 3 votes. He got all but 3 number 1 spots, with 252 votes to boast about, or to bring to his name, I guess. So yeah, he got number 1 spot. Personally, I had Pereira above him, but that's fine. Alex Pereira, number 2 with 217 votes. So yeah, Islam won number 1 by a landslide. Fair play to him. So Pereira number 2 with 217. Leon Edwards with 209 votes was the number 3 pound for pound fighter according to you guys. John Jones moved down from the UFC's spot of number 2 to number 4. He has 203 votes. Obviously, Alex Pereira moved up. Leon Edwards stayed in the same spot. Ilia Topuria, I can't say English words. Ilia Topuria, he's number 5. He stayed the same spot with 194 votes. Sean O'Malley also remained in the same spot with 181 votes. Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway both in the same spot as they are on the UFC's rankings with 156 votes for Volk and 140 for Max Holloway. Pantoja was the number 9 guy. He moved up ahead of Dricus with 121. Du Plessis with 113. He was the number 10 guy. Tom Aspinall, number 11. He moved up from his spot in the UFC's rankings. He's got 90 votes. Israel Adesanya just beat Sean Strickland by 1 vote. I did not have Izzy on my list. Personally, I had Strickland at 15, but you guys had Izzy at 12 and Strickland at 13. So fair play. 40 votes for Strickland, 41 for Adesanya. Charles Oliveira came in at number 14. He had 38 votes, so also not too far behind those other 2. Aljamain Sterling just makes the list. I think he's on the UFC's list too, if I'm not mistaken. He is. So yeah, Sean Strickland 14 for the UFC, Aljo 15. Aljo scraped that with 23 votes. Merab also had 23 votes, but just given that Aljo won more recently, he is a defending champion in the past, I did just make him take that number 15 spot, but you can consider those a tie for the number 15 spot. But if you're putting them on a list, Aljo got more higher placements. But a couple people didn't have him in there. So yeah, I'm putting him at number 15. But the other people who got votes to round out the top 20, of course, were, as I said, Merab Dvalishvili with 23 votes at number 16. Arman Sarukian with 17 votes at number 17. Kamaru Usman got 4 votes at number 18. Yuri Prohaska was number 19. He got 3 votes. And then Davison Figueiredo, he was the number 20 guy with also 3 votes. Someone voted for Hamzat. Someone voted for Poirier. But apart from that, we got everyone covered, really. But those are the rankings, guys. That is my effort to fix the UFC rankings, to create a better system where you guys really get to put your input in and contribute to a more kind of widespread fan rankings instead of just these weird MMA media members that continuously go up to press conferences and ask what it means to be on UFC 300. Those are the kind of guys that we're trusting to rank fighters. not having it on my watch. I'm making my own rankings. I made my personal ones in the other video, so go check that out if you want my reasoning and justification. If not, if you're going to stay here and you're going to like this video, hopefully subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think, what I'm going to be doing. So for fight nights, for arena fight nights or Apex fight nights, whenever there's only a couple fighters in each division, I will put out I will probably put out a poll, and I will put out a form just to submit your rankings for that division is what I will probably do. So like with next weekend's card, Perez versus Nicolau, I'll put out just one form if you guys want to, or maybe I'll just post on my YouTube community posts, and you guys can just put it in the comments, and then if any changes need to be made from there, I'll do that. I'm not going to do a full reset after one fight night. Obviously, that would be retarded. And then for like with the Brazil pay-per-view, I probably won't do a full reset. I might just do like a little, we'll figure it out. But I reckon we'll do like full resets maybe once every 4 or 5 months. So after the big pay-per-views, I'll probably do one at the end of June, because there's a bunch of shit going down in June. So I reckon we'll do like a completely full revamp, new vote at the end of June. But until then, we'll just do a couple mini ones to make the adjustments necessary. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys like this idea and concept of giving the fans a chance to contribute to the rankings. And yeah, in my books, these are the rankings. I don't give a fuck about the UFC rankings. They don't reflect what anyone thinks. They're not logical at all. So yeah, that's what we're going with. These are our rankings. Anytime I'm posting a fight announcement on my YouTube or on my Instagram, Left Lane MMA, go follow that. I'll be using the rankings from the group rankings with what you guys contributed to. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.